Hello everyone, welcome back to my craft room. My name is Whitney Lucas with Crafty Thoughts and Whatnots, and today I'm going to do a floral table runner. I had just completed a floral garland for my Patreon group, and I'll show you real quick. This is what she looks like. How beautiful is this, guys? Check this out. This is in my Patreon group, so if you guys wanted to join me for the minimum $5 a month support, you can get access to this beautiful video on how to make this beautiful floral garland. And of course the link is in the description for Patreon. And then also there's other reward levels, so just take a look at my Patreon page, check it out, see if anything fits you there. But that particular garland had inspired me to make a table runner. I wanted something really pretty and floral and springy and summery for my kitchen or for your dining room table. And this one is basically, let's continue on with the same premise as this one. And let's just get a bunch of flowers and make something pretty. So what I did is I went and I looked in my placemats, through my placemats and my chargers and my table linens, and I found I had 4 rattan placemats. Now these things might be chargers or whatever you guys want to call them. I'm pretty sure I used them as placemats back in the day, but I've had these guys here for quite some time. I may have purchased them at, could have been Target, could have been Kohl's, could have been Pier 1, could have been anywhere. But for this particular project, it's important that it's some sort of rattan material, if you can see here closely. This is a, it's more of a, almost like wicker or rattan. It's made out of a natural fiber because we need this to be susceptible. We need it to be able to glue to it. Different types of glue. So I'm going to go ahead and let's get to the craft table below, and I'll start to show you guys exactly what I did. Okay guys, welcome to the craft table. This is basically the style and the construction that I chose. I didn't want a particular table runner that would have been very, very long. What I wanted to do was something that basically won't hang off either side of the table. My table will sit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 8 people. So I have 2 on this side of the table, 2 on this side of the table, and then I have 1 person each sitting on either end of my table. And I've noticed that over time I don't want to remove my table runner because normally I have a nice decoration in the middle. I have other candle holders types of things set up here in the middle. And what I wanted was I wanted something that I can leave out even during dinner or during lunch or during the time we're using the table. So I chose this particular length. And I can tell you that the 3 placemats ended up measuring exactly almost 34 inches long. So this is basically about almost 3 feet wide. Now if you have a smaller table, I suggest maybe finding smaller placemats or smaller chargers. I have a fairly decent sized square table. I don't honestly know the size of it, but if you guys wait till the end of the video, you'll see exactly how I placed it on my table. I'll have some pictures and some things set up there. So what I had to do was I experimented with this particular product, this particular type of material on this placemat, and I used hot glue, and the hot glue did not hold on either side here. If you look at the construction underneath, you see this is, I kind of spaced them out evenly, did a little bit of measurement on here, give or take some, a couple, you know, not even an inch, but a few centimeters you could say on either side. And the hot glue did not work. It just popped right apart. So what I had to do, guys, was that beautiful magicness of E6000. Now this stuff worked very, very well. I applied it, and what I did was, actually, you know what? I actually have some footage. I recorded it for you guys, so I'll go ahead and take a break right now, and I'll show you the process of what I did. Was you'll see me measuring it out on the sides, and then I put the glue down, and then I placed actually my Probo fluff box, because that's about an 8-pound item. I placed that right here on top, but you could use some books or some stones or something, and then basically I left it. The tube itself says to wait 24 hours. I believe I waited probably a little bit longer than that, and as you can see here, this thing is not coming apart. So that's probably the best medium. Otherwise you could use epoxy or some other sort of glue. But for this project I chose E6000. I already had it on hand and it worked out. So here I'm going to take a cut and you guys can see exactly what I was doing and how I put these 3 things together. guys, welcome back. So as you can see, that was fairly simple. Just kind of measure a little bit, put on a bunch of glue, and basically stick it all together and weight it down. And basically I went and left it out. We went to dinner that night. I think I did some grocery shopping, and then waited till the next day to check it, and everything worked out okay. So that E6000 glue works really good with this type of material. So next I wanted to show you guys all of the flowers I chose. Now this is also like the floral garland. It's a good stash buster. Pick a color and a theme that you wanted to go, you would like to go with. I'm going more bright colors, spring, summer. I want you to be able just to look at this and smile. Anything that looks like it's a bright, fresh color. And I had a good amount of hydrangea left over from other projects in the past, and I figured for this particular material, this would be fairly easy to pull buds off of your flower bushes and glue it down. So I got a selection here I'll show you. These are some Gerber daisies I purchased at Michaels probably 2 seasons ago. I got orange and yellow Gerber daisies here. And then this is a leftover bush from Michaels also. I don't know what they are. Maybe they're sort of like a mum or something, but they're also, I got some light lime, a little bit of pale yellow, a little bit of pastel in here. It's okay in my book to mix them together. Once you get a nice, we're going to get a nice mixture of all of these flowers, it's going to look just fine. These I got at Michaels this year, and they were on sale, about $5.50 for the bush, and I don't know what they are. They're just like a really bright, happy type of, this is more like a coral color. It's bright between pink and orange. It's really pretty. And then here are all my leftover hydrangea. You can see here, I had one bush, one little bud, it's not little, one beautiful bud left over from this bush. And then I had one other bundle here. These are Michaels hydrangea. This, and let's see, okay, this is also a Michaels hydrangea bush. I think I purchased this one last year. It's got a little bit of soft pink and some green in it. I thought those are really pretty to mix in. And then these are from JoAnns, and I've used a couple off of here, as you can see. So I have 3 hydrangea left on here, and then I've got a whole bush also like this of the full of this one. So I've got basically a nice mixture of orange, green, white, and then a little bit of yellow and orange here. This entire combination here just makes me happy. I just can't help it. You guys already know I love flowers. I'm a flower obsessed individual, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? So next what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how I plan to apply the flowers to the placemats. So let's get back to the craft table, and I'll show you guys how I'm going to tape off some things. Okay guys, so what I wanted to do is I don't want to cover every single square inch of all of this surface area here. That would be probably more flowers than I actually have to use. So what I'm going to do is I still want to showcase some of this natural weaving on these placemats. I think they're I like the texture, I like the design, which is why I picked them out a while back for my own home. And what I want to do though is, in order to keep track, is I'm going to go ahead and put some masking tape on here in a rectangle shape so that I can make sure I stay within those borders while I'm gluing my flowers down. So I'm not going to measure, you guys. I'm just going to kind of apply this. I'm gonna try to get it relatively straight. I'm going to use some of the grid lines here on my mat underneath just to see how far in I want to go. So I'm going to try to measure this one and get this one over here on this side closer to the end of the 1 inch mark. And I'll probably place this maybe, let's do 3 inches in. So I've placed it 3 inches in, and I'm just putting down a piece of tape here. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. You guys will see here. Let me throw my glue back in my glue pot. So I'm going to push it all the way up to the last inch mark on my mat over here, which you guys can't see. Really push that over, pull it up a little bit. Right over here at the end of my grid lines on my mat, I'm pushing this last to the inch mark, and I'm going to come in 1, 2, 3 inches. And that's just where I'm going to guesstimate that I need to place this tape. Again, this isn't really going to be it's not like it's a painting project where you need to absolutely make sure that you have everything in a perfect line, or if it's even on either side, because I'll tell you right now, if you guys can see here, I'm pretty sure I don't have this end and this end lined up. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take more tape, about as long as I can get it, and I'm going to see here, I'm just going to kind of, that's not the end piece, you guys. I'm just going to make sure it's long enough to reach both ends, and I'll pull it off. And I'm just going to hold it over here and see if I like what I have, how much of this I have coming out. I think I'm good with that there. So I'm just going to kind of, now that, remember, this isn't permanent, this is coming off at the end, so that this is just for us to follow lines while we're making the project. Okay, so I'm going to flip it around, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side here. Just pull out a piece of tape that's long enough to reach both ends. And take a peek at how much of this I want. And I'm going to kind of guesstimate from what I have, the amount of space I have from here to here, as opposed to here to here. And I'm just going to press that down. And basically that's it. So this entire center area here, this is what we're going to fill with flowers. I actually think I have more than enough flowers to fill this space. So there's still a possibility that after I pull the tape off, I'm either going to try to not, I don't want to pack them in too tight, and I'll show you as we put them on together, because I don't want the flowers to be squished together and then you don't really get to see their individual, well, their individual beauty. You don't want them smushed together. Guys, welcome back. We cut up all the flowers, and now I've got the placemats back up here, and we are ready to put the flowers on. I'm also going to put some ribbon in here too. I'm going to intersperse a couple little loops of ribbon. So let's just get the flowers started, and we'll get to the ribbon after that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick some flowers. Actually, see, there's a little piece on this daisy here that doesn't belong. Let's clip that off real quick. And the idea is to just apply glue to the flower and place it on the placemat. Now, obviously, these aren't going to lie completely flat. I mean, you can try to press them into the wicker or the rattan, but there's going to be instances where they just don't lie flat. That's just how it goes. Do you see? So, same thing with these. So there's going to be a little bit of depth. It's going to have a little bit of three-dimensional look to it. And that's a-okay. We don't mind that. That's going to help with fullness. It's going to help with a lot of different things. But basically, a lot of the time, we're going to have to put glue on the sides of things and then lay them a little on their side to glue them down. So if I had to glue this piece down this way, you would still see this part, but then this flower would come back in on this side, and it would cover that up. And that's basically how the whole entire piece is going to come together. So all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to start grabbing pieces of florals, and I'm over here off to the side. You can't see, I'm placing it in my glue skillet. And I'm just going to start to place flowers within this little grid that I created here. So these daisies here, I'm not going to put in my glue pot. I'm just going to apply glue with my glue gun on them and then lay them down where I placed, where I've already placed the glue. So here, let's just start applying glue to pieces and gluing pieces on. Remember, the masking tape is going to come off, so try not to actually glue onto the tape itself. And also use the pieces you've already done. You can move things off to the side, glue things underneath other pieces so that you have that opportunity to use every piece as its own little cover. And then you're not having to deal with pieces of stems showing or glue showing or anything like that that you don't want to have a focal point in your piece. There are going to be also instances where glue touches other petals. That's fine. Again, we're just going to randomly grab these flowers and just place them down. Now, you don't have to put ribbon in your piece if you don't want to. I just love ribbon and love flowers, and in my opinion, ribbon and flowers go hand in hand. So I will be placing lots of that on there. And if you can see already, this is basically why you're making the centerpiece as it is. This really doesn't need much else to go on top of it, but if you have a vase or a candle holder or something that has some feet on it, I'll show you in just a little bit. I have a vase off to the side over here that has some little feet on it. You could always still set that on top of this piece, and because the placement of the two placemats we have here, we have a good support, so this doesn't really bend in the middle. I'd say this placemat comes to about right here, and this one probably comes to about right here. So there's a good, decent amount of support here in the middle of this placemat. You can still place some sort of charger or candle holder plate with a candle on it. I suggest LED candles, since all of these are synthetic materials and they're plastic. They could be very flammable. So LED candles would probably be your best bet to stick with, but you still have the opportunity of leaving an empty space here if you want to place a candle holder that doesn't have feet on it, or a hurricane glass maybe in the middle. Leave an empty spot. I particularly am not going to do that. I want to cover this whole piece with flowers. So that is what I'm going to do. Here for my ribbon, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the ribbon as I go. I think it might be better that way, so that way I'm not trying to really part pieces. So what I'm going to do is grab the ribbon. Now this ribbon I purchased for a wreath project. It's a really bright yellow ribbon with white stripes on it. It's so bright and summery and airy. I love it. And what I'm going to do is place just a few loops in the ribbon and have that come up out of the flowers here. And excuse me guys, I have to grab some pipe cleaners. I didn't have those with me just yet. And I'm going to cut the pipe cleaners in half. I also have some Dollar Tree raffia left over from a previous project, which I also used in the floral garland as well. And this is really cute stuff too. It just makes a cute little looping shapes, and it's real airy and springy. Might be a little bit of farmhouse too, which is probably why I love it. I'm going to add some of that into the project as well. So here I'm just going to take my ribbon and I'm going to dovetail the end. I'm just going to make a relatively small bow, you could say. It's not going to be a crazy big piece. I'm going to see how far do I want this to come up off of my piece. So that tail looks about decent. And that's where I'm going to pinch the ribbon. I'm going to make, again, a proportionate size loop to the project. And then I pinch it, and then I twist the ribbon so that this is single-sided, faces me. Make the bow about this, the loop on the other side about the same. Bring it back and pinch it. Twist it again so that the decorative side faces me. And then cut that off. And here is where we're going to use a neutral colored chenille stem, and then basically just take it, put it through the middle, and twist to your heart's content. And then what we're going to do is, this is going to get glued down to a flat surface, so I'm just going to kind of cut off the bottom of this piece, and then I'm going to kind of just bend this to the side. If you see here, I took the piece and I just bent it off to the side. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to need to apply glue to the bottom of the bow. Let me dovetail this other tail right here just real quick. And how we're going to apply this into the piece is, because this is a flat surface, we don't need to stick this into anything, so we don't need a floral pick or a steel pick. All I'm going to do is kind of push the bow up into itself. I'm going to separate my tails on either end and push the bow into itself in the middle, just kind of pinching the loops together here, if you can see. Right? So I have something, and I'm going to dip this whole piece into my glue skillet. Or if you don't, you can use your glue gun and apply your glue here at the end. So you're getting glue on the pipe cleaner and the actual ribbon itself. Okay? You want to get a good amount of surface area contact with the glue, so that it also has contact with the placemat where I'm going to place it. So if you see here, I got a decent amount of glue on there, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of part my flowers a little bit, and then just place that right down into the middle of the project. And then glue goes everywhere, you guys. That's just part of crafting. I'm sure you guys all know that. And here's where I'm going to kind of just play with the loops a little bit. Get the tails kind of curled how I like them. You can kind of twist one side or the other, but you want to hold that down. You don't really want to mess with it too much until it's done drying or cooling off and it's actually adhered to your project. And here's where you can go back in and kind of, you could glue a couple flowers here into the middle of it. You could glue down one of these daisy pieces here into the middle. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue to glue down some flowers while that still cures. And I'm just completely randomizing this whole entire piece. Do you see how that flower just kind of, it comes in on this side. Let me try to rotate the project so you can see. It kind of comes in around on this side here. This is where I just placed this one. And it hides the piece of the bow that you could still see where the pipe cleaner was glued down. So this is basically a very springy, very happy piece. If you can see already, we've only filled up the one side, and it's already making me super happy. You could also honestly just stop at this point here, since we've filled this piece of this particular charger or placemat. Then we could do the same thing here on this side, and you could leave this entire center empty, and this is where you could place your hurricane glass, or you could place, here I'll show you guys at the moment right now. This is the vase I have. I purchased this at like TJ Maxx. Yeah, this was at TJ Maxx. And you see how this has it has feet on it here? This would give you some of the height you need. Now, if I put a bow here in the middle, that would probably smush the project. But if it was just flowers, you could probably get away with putting something, maybe this height, but maybe just a little bit taller here in the middle. Again, I'm making the project with the idea that this is all that's going in the middle of the table. This is sort of my low-key type of centerpieces. If you're a person that has a lot of, let's say you have a lot of formal lunches, formal dinners, real springy, airy barbecues, those types of things, then you're probably someone who takes your floral pieces and interchange them and you know, moves them out and around. I don't particularly do that. I like to set my table for the season and leave it that way. So for me, this really helps me kind of do just a once over at the beginning of the season, and then I can leave this on my table until I choose to bring out 4th of July or some other type of theme, or if I plan on having a birthday party, something like that. But this particular DIY is applicable to so many, every season, even 4th of July. You could do this with white flowers, red, white, blue flowers. I've seen a lot of good stuff at home, Hobby Lobby, different places like that. And you could do a lot of different themed ribbons. You could do a beach theme if you have that sort of dining room. It's even for separate formal dining rooms, you could do a beach theme. You could make this for a bridal shower. This could be maybe even for a more relaxed wedding setting. You could make this for the bride and groom's table. The centerpieces that they always have on a bride and groom's table will always are a little bit different than everybody else's. If you do centerpieces like that, this would be good for baby showers, bridal showers. This is just, I mean, I'm using this for an everyday piece. I really love this bright, airy colored ribbon. This is gorgeous ribbon from Craft Outlet. Can't really go wrong with that. And for now, I'm only going to do 3 of these because I have 3 chargers and it's kind of an odd number. And a lot of times odd numbers people are drawn to. So in decorating, I'm just going to keep it at an odd number for now. And then I will add the raffia with the same technique I'm doing here. I'm going to do like a loop method. You guys will see that towards the end. And I'll probably just place that sporadically in between all of the flowers once we already have the whole piece covered. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to continue. I'm going to place these off to the side until I get to where I want to put them on the piece. I might do some sort of pattern where this is kind of here. And then I'll put this one up here, maybe this one. I'm going to kind of make them a little off, uneven. I don't want anything to be too perfect. I like everything to look a little randomized, a little natural. So what I'm going to do is set these off to the side. And I'm going to continue to glue down our flowers. Okay guys, welcome back. Most of the flowers are placed, actually pretty much almost all the flowers are placed. At some point when you're getting to this point, you've put your ribbon in, your flowers are on. You need to look for like little tiny holes, little places where you still would want to put things. I've got a good little decent sized one over here. Let me show you on, I'm going to turn it this way for you. And see about right here, you can see the tape, which we're removing, but there's a good little spot here that I can still glue something. So I've already got 2 daisies side by side here. I don't want to stick a third one. I didn't want to randomize it, and I got a good randomization throughout this whole piece. But what I'm going to do is I have pretty much only a few pieces left of each of my items, and I'm going to put these in the middle of the bow. You guys know I can't not put things in the middle of my bows. Like this bow right here, I've already stuck a daisy in. You can see right here, I already stuck a daisy in that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place this guy right here and get him kind of nestled up underneath that, and then that fills in that last gap. And then the rest of it is really just kind of, you know, getting your hands and your knuckles in there and just kind of looking around and searching for all those empty spots that might show some secrets. You don't want any of the behind the scenes. You don't want any gaps showing. You want no glue at all showing. You just want things to kind of just overlap and just look like a beautiful little pile of flowers that just nature decided to leave at your doorstep, or in this case on your tabletop. So what I'm going to do here is I have a couple pieces of hydrangea left off that I'd cut off of the bigger bundles, and I'm going to nestle these right in the center of the bows. It kind of fills in the gaps a little bit, and it helps with the whole theme of you know, the pile of flowers. It makes the whole piece more cohesive, in my opinion. I love to stick things in the middle of the bows. So I just put glue on the end of my piece there, and I'm pushing it in between the 2 loops. I have 2 loops here, and I'm pressing that little piece right there in between those, and then that's what you get here is your piece, and then here's a loop and here's a loop, and then there's the piece I added. I'm going to do that again on this bow down here. I already added the daisy to this one, but I'm going to show you guys a little bit closer here. So here's my 2 loops. I'm going to pull them apart just a little bit just to get it ready for me to glue this piece in. And then what I do is I take my bundle and I get all of the petals out of the way, and I kind of just situate it in my hand so that as I'm holding everything, this is all that you can see here. This is basically your piece of the stem we're going to apply the glue to. After we put the glue on, we're going to quickly just place that right down in the center of the bow. So I'm going to put this in my glue skillet. If you don't have a glue skillet, you would just use your glue gun and put a bunch of glue here on the end. So let me get some glue on the end of that. Get a generous amount. Doesn't have to be too much, but too little might not hold. So I got a decent amount of glue on there, if you guys can see that, and I'm just going to place that right down in the center of the bow. And then basically it fluffs out on its own. Let it be, because it'll need to harden. The glue will harden on its own. And that's basically what you have now. So it helps the bow look more cohesive with the piece that we created. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my little bit of raffia, and we're done. I have a few little pieces here and there of some leftover goodies. If you can't save them for another project, find somewhere to place them in. But just remember, be careful of, you know, really squishing the project. I don't want things to look as though they were really, you know, just squished in there, because then it will change the look of your end piece, and you don't want that to be too, you don't want it to look too cluttered, like it has, everything's been squished in so badly. So I probably won't be adding any more flowers to this, just our little raffia pieces. And we're going to do the same thing with these that we did with well, I guess not necessarily. We're not going to be doing the same exact thing. We're going to be doing the same technique with the pipe cleaner. But let me show you real quick. So I'm going to take my 2 colored pieces of raffia here, and then I have the bundles together in my hand. You could do it separately if you want, but I want the yellow and green to come together. And I'm only going to make 3 of these bundles as well because I have 3 bundles of flowers here. So I'm going to hold them together. I'm going to pull down and bring it back up to my hand to pinch. Pull down, bring it back up to my hand to pinch, and that's it. That's basically our little tiny bundle. And then you're going to cut them, your tails off with the scissors, okay? So instead of using an entire, this is a half of a pipe cleaner. I'm going to half one whole pipe cleaner, and then I'm going to half it again because we really don't need very much on this at all. So you're going to wrap that right around the center of your piece. I've done these on a couple other projects, and you're just going to twist, twist, twist. I've done these on a couple other projects you may have seen on my YouTube channel. I did it for my Dollar Tree challenge. I did it for... there's another project I did it for. I know I did it on the floral garland, but you can always watch that if you become a patron. At the $5 reward, you get special extra videos, and then you get to watch all of my YouTube videos ad-free through Vimeo if you're a $5 patron. But I've done this on another previous project too. So basically, after I twisted it, I kind of cut it off a little short, and then I'm doing the same thing, and I'm bending it off to the side. That gives it some more surface area. What I'm going to do is find somewhere I want to place this goodie. So just kind of look in here for a little bit. You'll have to dig just a tiny amount. We kind of want that. So you find an opening, and I'm going to put glue on the end of this here. And then what I'm going to do is place this right down in onto the placemat. So make sure you move your florals off to the side so you have a nice opening down in there. And then place this guy right down, oops, okay, the glue fell a little bit, right down in there, and you've got contact with a lot of little things. That's going to stay on there. And then see how the raffia kind of pops out? It just looks like a cute little bit of kind of rusticy, ribbony, I don't know what it is. It's just a cute little explosion of a little bit of ribbon. It's just a little bit less formal than your fancier ribbon you got over here, this wired stuff. It's just a little bit of a cute little explosion. Actually, I'm thinking now I might do 4 of these. I know I said I want to stick with odd numbers, but these aren't really a huge impact. They're kind of delicate, and they're a little less showy than the wired ribbon is. And actually, we'll have to see how much I have left of my spools, but I'm pretty sure that I could get 4 of these off of these spools here. I like also how it, oh, sorry guys, my dog has her squeaky in here. I didn't realize she brought it in. Yeah, those are the perks of recording these videos at home for you guys. My little doggy, she's got her squeaker over there. She likes to be in here when I'm crafting. So I'm doing the same thing, twisting it, and I'm doing like a little L shape here, and I'm going to place another one pretty close enough. I'm going to do 4, 1, 2, actually I might do 5 just to stick with odds. You know, creature of habit, it kind of just always happens that way. So let me find a little opening right here. Keep this thing open as much as I can. I mean, if you end up gluing it to some petals down there at the bottom, it's fine, but ultimately you want to make sure that you get a good contact on the actual placemat or the charger or whatever you found that works. But just remember, stay with the natural type product so that basically you have the extra you have something that's not necessarily plastic. It'll fit and it'll stick right down onto your piece. The hot glue needs to be able to adhere to whatever you're gluing to. So there are different products and fabrics and different things that just aren't, you know, they're just not hot glue friendly. Just make sure that whatever you're using as your charger is actually going to be feasible to use with hot glue. So I'm going to do 3 more of these guys, and then we'll take off the tape and I'll show you the end result, guys. Okay guys, we got all the raffia in, we got our bows, our flowers, all of our little filler inside of our bows. The raffia adds that cute little pop of fun, springy, fall, or not fall, what am I saying? Fun, spring and summer. This is just a really bright, really pretty piece that you can leave up on your table or your island, if you have a bar. If you just need some space filler, you could put this on a buffet or a hutch. This could also be really pretty on a console table underneath a TV. If you have a wall-mounted TV, you could place this there. This is just a really pretty idea I thought would work out, and I'm very, very pleasantly surprised at it. I'm very just happy with this whole outcome. This is super pretty. I'm going to place this on my dining room table and try to get some good pictures to put here at the end of the video for you guys. And then also, in any event, I'll find a way to get pictures so you guys can at least see it in a normal setting. I may place it on my console table under my TV as well, just to give you an idea to see how these work. We'll see what happens. Just stay tuned to the end of this video and you'll find out how I was able to apply this in my own home. And then here now all we got to do is just take the masking tape off. Make sure that you could also use painter's tape. I forgot to mention that earlier. Painter's tape doesn't really cause issues. Also, I tested this out beforehand to make sure on a piece on the back, to make sure it didn't pull any of the color or pull the rattan off. And also, this isn't staying on permanently for too long. It was going to only be for the course of this project. Now, you guys have only seen the, the cut version, but this was probably about 40 minutes total to put all these flowers and then arrange all of it and make the bows. So it can be a little bit quicker. I tend to take a little bit more time than I normally should on certain things, but basically at this point now you should just be able to pull your masking tape off. If you see here how I'm doing it, it's not something that's a permanent piece that's going to stick really hard to any kind of surface. It shouldn't, at least. So here I'll try to show you on this side here. It should just pull up, depending on if you've glued to it. Now, I know a couple places I may have actually gotten some glue on it, like under this daisy right here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to have to pull that up. Let's try this side, and then maybe I'll pull that up with the pull. So I'm going to pull down over here, and then just pull out, pull out. Looks like I may have hit a little bit of glue. Just remember, if you glue onto the tape, it's going to give you a little bit of a problem when it's time to pull it off. So let's just check over here where I lost it at. Yeah, there's a little piece of glue here from this daisy that decided to cause a little bit of a problem. Now remember, I didn't use bright blue painter's tape, so technically a little piece of masking tape in there isn't going to show. So here's the rest of the reveal. So I'm going to pull here, and see what we have when we get to this part here. And it came off. If you can see there, that's pretty much where it was stuck on a little piece. So that's everything that was pulled off from before. And then you can always go under and check under your flowers just to make sure everything came off. And everything did. So the masking tape was just kind of like a little grid for you to follow to make sure you stayed in with your own, within your own little shape, to make sure you didn't go too far out. And I pretty much stayed as much as I possibly could in. I'm very happy with this, you guys. Tell me what you think in the comments. And remember, throw out some other ideas. We all need to share. I mean, there's room for all of us together here. I love learning from you guys. You guys always give me the best feedback. So let me know how you thought this looks. Let me know what you think of the idea. And then, of course, if you guys make one yourself, please feel free to send me pictures. I love to see the stuff you guys do. I have a Facebook page and an Instagram page. You guys can see all my links to everything in my description, and then also my Patreon page. So let me go ahead and pan up, you guys, and I'll hold this up so you get maybe a different view of it. Okay, guys, here's the finished piece. I'm kind of holding it up like a pizza. It's kind of nice and light and airy. This turned out super cute, didn't it, guys? I love it. I love the colors. I love the spring. I love everything about it. This thing is actually pretty easy, and it's usable for every season. For storage, I would lay this flat, obviously. I would put maybe a clear plastic bag or even a yard bag over it. And I would place this either in the top of a closet, or you need to put that up in the top of your garage, but protect it from dust. But every year you could literally take this out of the bag and just place that right back on your table, and spring and summer is already there for you. This is super cute for pretty much many places. Lots of different themes can apply to it. This would look great on a console table, a kitchen table, a bar, a sofa table. I'd even drag this outside, put it on my patio table for just maybe like a little bit of an iced tea and some talk and chit chat with the girls, or just a cute little outdoor dinner or anything. Sorry, my dog's scratching at the door. This would also apply, think of a baby shower, and for a baby shower you could pick the colors, and then you could place little plastic rattles in here, or baby bottles, those little decorative ones. Or for a bridal shower, whatever the bride's colors are, apply that and put little tufts of tulle in here the same way we did the raffia. There's just so many different ideas. If you guys make one, please send it to me. There's links to my Instagram and my Facebook page in the description. I would love to see how you guys make them. I'd love to see the different ideas that you apply to it. And let me know what you think of how this turned out. And then also, if you'd like what we did today, if you like the technique, if you like learning from me, you enjoy this video, consider supporting me on Patreon. Patreon basically helps me continue to purchase supplies in order to bring these videos for you. It's super rewarding and honoring to know that you guys want me to continue to make things for you, and I love doing it as well. So just take a look at my Patreon page. The link is in the description, and you can check out the different reward levels and the different things that I'll give back to you for helping me. So I love this. Hopefully you guys do too. Let me know what you think, and then I guess until next time, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.